To submit shots of your neighborhood for the opening sequence of future episodes of the series, send us video clips of your pada at bongeats.com/pada. No tilting, zooming or panning, just steady 5-second video clips, bongeats.com/pada. In this city of 15 million, from every house, every bylane, wafts a different smell of cooking. Yet we never stop to wonder who is doing the cooking and who our neighbors are. On Bong Eats, we now invite our neighbors, metaphorically speaking, to come share their food with us. You are watching Pasher Bair Ranna.
বাড়ির কাছে আরশিনগর সেথা পড়শি বসত করে এখন পড়শি বসত করে একদিনও না দেখিলাম.
Today's episode is Sarson ka Saag with Rahul Arora.
Hello, I'm Rahul, chef from Kolkata. Some of you might have seen me with longer hair in the Ranna Ghore Ke episode that was shot some time ago.
Every season, as the market changes, my father would go pick up Sarson ka saag aa gaya. So Papa would bring 4 kgs of sarson.
Sarson ka saag is one of the most iconic dishes when it comes to Punjabi food. Amra mane ei recipe সাথে ভালোবাসা আছে আমাদের. It is like an emotion for us. আমরা এই শাক নিয়ে খেলোয়াড়টা একদম পছন্দ করি না. যে কলকাতার রেস্টুরেন্টগুলো এই মিক্সি চালানো ঘ্যাঁট সার্ভ করছে, দ্যাট ইজ নট হোয়াট পাঞ্জাবি সারসো কা সাগ সাপোজ টু লুক লাইক.
My family's recipe, the saag cannot be pureed. It has to be plucked. Then the stems will be removed. We peel the stems and we get the pith, which is called gandala in Punjabi. That adds characteristic sweetness to your saag.
Everybody claims that their recipe is the most authentic one and their mother makes it just like it is supposed to be made. So let's break a bubble here and say that there is no authentic sarson ka saag recipe and there is no wrong recipe of a saag. Every household has its own touch. Some like it a little sweeter, some like it a little karara as they call it in Punjab. It's supposed to have a lot of chili. There's a very nice song in Punjabi, Saag bada si karara sharararara. So our culinary heritage of Punjab, it's very communal. So usually from the Sanja Chula concept, so that people can sit together, eat and make merry, make a one pot, one dish which everybody enjoys. The saag eaten through Punjab and across the regions of India is essentially veg saag, which is served with makke ki roti, butter. But I have Lahori roots. My descendants are from an undivided Punjab. And Saag Gosht made with sarson ka saag is phenomenal. Why wouldn't you do that, you know? So let's get to buying the saag. I personally love buying my saag from Jagu Bazaar, which is the Punjabi name of Jodu Babu Bazaar. The leaves should be supple, you know, they should not be wilted. We should check for firmness of the stems and the bunch should look full. It should not look wilted.
This is what we peel and we take two ye do moto ye wala acha hai.
And ideally there should be a thick core in the center, which is where the other leaves branch out of. That thick core is very important. So some parts of the community like the kacha sarson ka saag, you know, it is sweeter, a little watery, and it starts the beginning of the winter season where it is smaller stalks, cleaner, light greener leaves, a less bold flavor. I personally like to wait, and my family personally likes to wait for sarson to flower. That's when we feel that the pith gets thicker and the leaves have a more bolder, more robust, mustardy flavor, you know. The younger saag, I personally feel you can shred, squeeze water out, make lovely parathas out of. Or just saute it like a shak bhaja as the Bengalis would do. Or even kachi sarson ki chutney is beautiful. The young stems which snap easily can be used as it is. The inner core, which is thick, has a plasticky cover on it. We have to peel it like we would peel a pui saag or any Bengali saag.
You just have to make sure it snaps.
and that's the gandal or plural gandala, which will add that characteristic flavor which you will get when the saag is open. You open the saag post its boiling, that characteristic smell comes from that pith. We also add a few other things. We like to add bathua or bethu saag. We like to add mooli ke patte and palak. Palak also try not to get a very fibrous one. A little younger palak would add better value to it. A stronger, bolder palak will overshadow the flavor of the sarson ka saag. And mooli ke patte also, since mustard and radish are from the same family, so it just complements the flavor very beautifully. Bathua has its own beautiful earthiness. So when you're completing the flavor profiles of your tongue, bathua is the bitter element. We must make sure we wash the saag thoroughly. The leaves must be washed separate, the young stems must be washed separately, and the pits must be washed separately. Everything must be finely chopped. There are people who would say that why do you want to take the pain of, you can just blanch it and run it through a mixer or just puree the saag. A good saag should disintegrate, should not be churned. Otherwise you can easily get pre-blanched and pureed sarson ka saag from branded canning products all over North India. So ganne ka gur has a very earthy fragrance, and it is not as in your face sweet as a date gur or a sugar. Because ganne ka gur, when you cook it down, the sweetness reduces and blends with the other flavors. Then comes our magic ingredient, our tool, our Ozar, as I can call it, that is the madhani. Madhani is like an heirloom which comes down generations, a fat baton with a little round head. A smaller version of it is used to make lassis like that. We stir the saag with the madhani, occasionally pounding it, occasionally stirring it. Once the saag is evenly pounded, it will look like a chunky chutney actually, not really like a puree, it will be chunky. Some people like to add a coarse gehu ka atta with a little choker, which is like a hand chakki ka atta, or a coarse makai ka atta. At this point of time, any water you need to add into the saag must be hot. We cannot add kacha pani into the saag after the pounding is done, because if you add kacha pani, the saag will taste watery. We add a little hot water and then we stew it a little bit till the starch is released out of the atta and it will give a sheen to it. The green saag will turn a little on the yellowish side. Post this step, we like to keep the saag overnight and then tadka for the next day, because I think the saag tastes better the next day. The base is ready. This base you can keep in the freezer for over a month. At the end of the season, we usually make a big batch, make small ziplocs and freeze it and eat through the summer as well. So we're going to make two different variations of saag. One is the traditional, my family style vegetarian saag, and a meat version, which is a Lahori Saag Gosht, which we're going to make with mutton pieces. We like our ghee a little lighter in color, little less stronger in smell. It's a request, please do not use brown gawa ghee for this recipe. As much as you might like it, that will not go with this recipe. We are Punjabis and we absolutely love our majha ghee or bhains ka ghee. Please stick to that, because we're going to eat copious amounts of it in this recipe. So the tadka is pretty much similar for both veg and non-veg. We add gur as tempering into it. We wait for the gur to caramelize in the ghee. The gur will bubble. Since gur has a little bit of soda added to it, you'll see it foaming a little bit. This is absolutely optional. Some people do not like sweetness in the saag, and those families don't add gur to it. The dry spices are cooked, the ghee comes out on the side, a nice red sheen is visible on the onion ka tadka. We add the saag and your veg saag is ready. You can either take nice chunky botis, or you can take big 100 odd gram pieces of mutton. The tadka for the Saag Gosht is a little different from the vegetarian tadka because we've already added the ginger, garlic, green chilies into the marinade. So here we will only take ghee and gur and onions to start with. Since this recipe uses gur, it has chances that this might get stuck to the bottom of the pan, so you must be careful and keep stirring it every 10 to 15 minutes on a low flame. A heavy bottomed pan or a thick pan is advised because again it's cooking for a long time. If you want to make this recipe quicker, you can comfortably make it with keema too. Again, this particular recipe too tastes much better the next day. The saag and the mutton, if left overnight, will taste phenomenal the next day. Oh, then that will fuck the saag.
So say that. Say that the ghee.
Goa ghee do not.
My saag with your Bengali.
तो दी मार बे.